Good morning, my fellow yogic travelers. I'm mighty glad to be alive today, and I hope that you are too, as we continue to live, laugh, love, learn, linger, and live the life we love. It's no secret that I'm a big fan of Joseph Campbell's work. In 1943, his seminal work, The Hero with a Thousand Faces. Of course, now, to be politically correct, we can say The Heroine with a Thousand Faces as well. There's sheroes as well as heroes, right? But the idea is that in one swoop in the Northern Hemisphere, from the Indic to the Celtic to the Christic to the Sufic to the Judaic, Islamic, there's so many cultures that follow this pattern of the basic initiatory way that young boys and young girls step into their adult role by separating themselves from what they know, by encountering some kind of test and trial in the underworld, which means their own subconscious, and then the reincorporation by bringing their gifts back to their community as a person involved now in service and love. So we start off with the idea that the all, I like that word because it includes everything, nothing is outside of the all is everywhere. And so that means anywhere can become a seat of power. Right? It can happen in a flash. You can be opened up to the vista, the epiphany. And so you realize there's more to the world than just the physical world, and more to yourself than just your conscious mind. Now, psychologists from Freud to Erickson understood the quest to understand oneself is about going within. The hero journey, the heroine journey, is seemingly a retreat from existence, but it's really a move towards your own unconscious forces. So you find out what is the real psychological meaning of your own personal story. The hero is the one who invents and uses the myths to get deep inside their own psyche, and the quest they take is the one which every human needs to take in order to fulfill themselves as a human being. So once you realize that the stories are about encountering parts of yourself rather than the dramatization of things external to you and dealing with witches, ogres, fire-breathing dragons, and so forth. And so the powers that are revealed have been within the heart the whole time. So the key really is, are you willing to go forth onto this journey under your own volition when you hear the call to adventure? Or are you going to be sent abroad by benign or malignant aspects or agents, and you refuse their call? So it posits a world that we have never visited. There's a lot that's unknown about ourselves, a world that we never even knew existed. And part of that has to do with destiny summons you away from what your normal center of gravity is, which is the pale of your own village compound. Society keeps you hooked in. It doesn't really push you into the unknown zone within yourself. Then the normal person is willing to stay within the indicated boundaries. Socialization in a certain way teaches you a certain kind of consciousness, but it aborts the whole idea that you're going to adapt yourself to a new kind of awareness. But we're weaned away from that unconsciousness by the chump change of the masters of war. And so your focus doesn't go within, it stays external. Now, you need a strong ego to resist the domination of not only the parents, but society as well. Neurosis tends to be when your ego is too weak to resist, and then you stay ensconced in society, and you never leave the security and the comfort for the unknown. So remember, the first half of our life is social adjustment. We find a job, we find a mate, we find our own individual function, all outside how our persona looks. But then the second half of life is not the unconscious, is not the rejection of the unconscious, but the enlargement of it. We supplement it. We don't abandon the achievements in the first half of life. And that's why I've always been a fan of Carl Jung, because he really supports the second half of life, which is not a mere appendage. Since nature programs for success, why should we have an extra 30, 40, 50, 60 years after we're mature, maybe passed on our genetic material to the next generation? There must be a reason, and the reason is to take this hero journey. I'll see you then.